Former Mizzou Tiger Marcus Golden.
This is former Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver J.J. Burton, and you're watching the Outsider Sports Show.
You are listening to the Outsider Sports Show. It's Clint Schweitzer, it's Noah Groniger, and we are revealing our brand new documentary film project, Stadium Crashers, and who better to do that with than former Florida Gator, Travis McGriff. Travis never had to crash a stadium in his life because he played in the SEC. Travis, how you doing, man? How's everything going in your world?
I'm doing good, guys. Busy. I'm actually at my son's Little League baseball game, and so busy being a dad and all those kind of crazy things, but excited to talk to you guys.
Well, thank you so much. We definitely don't want to keep you long. I know you're busy being a dad, you're a great guy down there, and Florida loves you. The Gators love you. They don't love Aaron Hernandez, but they do love Travis McGriff. That's for sure. We're getting into this film project, Travis. And the truth of it is, Stadium Crashers came about. We're revealing that right here on this podcast. A film we fundraised ourselves. It's going to be a 3,800-mile road trip through the entire SEC, 14 stadiums in 14 days. We're going to be checking them out, doing history on each one, and I just, kind of getting into the stadiums in the SEC. Obviously, they set themselves above. I mean, it's some of the best sports venues in the nation. Going back to your playing days, I mean, is there stadiums that stick out to you? Like, what were some of the other than, of course, the Swamp, which is one of the best. What are some that stick out to you as ones that you just love playing in? The things that we definitely need to highlight for the film.
They're all so unique. I think what you guys are doing is a really neat concept because all the SEC stadiums are special in their own way. When I was playing during the 90s, it was us and Tennessee were really the two dominant teams. And so playing at Tennessee, at Neyland Stadium, obviously one of the biggest stadiums as far as capacity in the whole country with over 100,000, it was electric and they had great teams, and so that was always a really neat venue. I was lucky enough as a freshman in 1995 to play against Georgia in Athens. Usually that Florida-Georgia game is in Jacksonville, but they were retooling Alltel Stadium at the time, and so in 95 we played in Athens, and that was really special. Always loved Auburn. LSU is a really unique place, and I remember where the visitors' locker room is. It's a really crappy locker room, and they do that on purpose. And they put Mike the Tiger, at least they did when we were playing. Mike is in his cage right by the locker room, and when you come out, you don't realize he's there. And I remember when we came out, the skill guys to go out for warm-ups, you sort of heard this little growl, and you looked, and there's this giant tiger there. So that was a special place. Vandy being in the Eastern Division, playing them all the time. It's one of the smaller venues, but it's in Nashville, and that's pretty neat. South Carolina is a great place, and obviously they've gotten better and better. And then I played at Alabama. That's a really special, and there's so much history there. And one of the things that sticks out about Alabama in my mind, that as a player, guys, it's these little unique details that a lot of people don't see, but Alabama is one of the few fields that doesn't have a crown on the field, so it's not slanted, it's not teeth in the middle, and then crown for rain runoff. It's just flat, and as a skill guy that's got to run around all day and catch balls, that's nice. When it's flat, the grass was great, and all the fields are immaculate, and the fan bases are so into their team and so supportive. So it's just so unique, and not only to college football, but to football as a whole. I played in the NFL for a little bit, and there's some neat stadiums in the NFL, and actually where you guys are in Missouri, Kansas City is one of the really cool venues. But even those stadiums do not compare to the SEC stadiums. They just don't have the same passion. It's just not quite the same. So what you guys are doing is a pretty cool thing.
Well, I think the unique thing about this is we're traveling during the summer when obviously there's no football going on. There's it's kind of a dead period. We're coming around, and so it's kind of up to our own volition to get inside each stadium to crash it, so to speak, kind of borrowing from the Wedding Crashers concept. But we really want to showcase the town that each stadium is in, how it relates to each, how important each team is to the city that it's in. Going to Gainesville, where you played, got any tips for us as far as getting inside the swamp? Because is there a certain gate, a certain entrance that we might be able to find ourselves in a little easier than than others?
Yeah, you guys probably, the stadium is kept open most of the time. They let just fans or Gainesville residents, whoever, people that live here, they let them go in there and walk the stadium steps for exercise. And on the west side of the stands, on the press box side, in the southwest corner, there's a ramp that leads up, and usually that gate is open. And so you guys could go in there and walk around and check it out, and really could do anything you wanted to. You could probably even get on the field, depending on who's around. Nobody may notice. If they do, they may ask you to get off the grass. But you guys enter there in that southwest corner, and you should have full access.
Well, we know now that we won't have to worry about any trespassing in Gainesville. Travis has given us the go. He's given us the lay of the land. We're good. So no trespassing problems in Gainesville. You never know about some of the others, but no, we're so excited to do this, Travis. And our hope is, and I know the time we're going to be in Gainesville, it's around the 4th of July weekend. And it's important to us. If there's any chance at all, we know that if we were able to get you in this film, it wouldn't be your first foray into film. You of course played Vince Papali's Mark Wahlberg's stunt double as Vince Papali in Invincible, which was great. So if there's any way, I know certainly it's hard to commit to these kind of things now, but if you're around at all, we would love to just get a brief interview with you in the film, and if that's something you'd be interested in, man, we'd love to make it happen. We definitely could stay in touch on that.
Yeah, sure thing. You guys got my number, and if I'm around during that time, that's a little bit far away, and the wife is the social planner, so who knows where I'll be. But if I'm around, absolutely, you guys give me a call, and we'll hook it up.
Well, if you want to crash the stadium with us, that might make us feel a little bit better, kind of our own security blanket there. It's cool. But I'll tell you, if you see a drone, I don't know if you're familiar with drones. If you see a drone flying over your home down there in Florida, you don't be concerned, because we're going to be getting a lot of aerial shots. We got a drone. We're going to be getting aerial shots of these things. Really, just wanting to bring to the forefront the importance of these facilities. And you've talked about it. It seems like it's kind of something you're on board with. You definitely get it, man. So we're really excited to do all this, and just make an experience of it. It should be fun.
No, it should. I like I said, I think what you guys are doing is really neat. I know you won't be there during the game, and all the fans won't be in there, but sometimes that's even a cooler perspective, because you're in a giant stadium with all the different histories, but it's quiet, and you can kind of walk around and think and take it in and sort of take your time and not have to deal with 80 to 100,000 people screaming. So I think you guys will really enjoy it, and every venue is different and unique in their own ways, and that's, I'm sure, what you guys will portray in the film. So I'm anxious to see it whenever it comes out.
Well, Travis, we definitely want to pick your brain on some things, maybe on campus, around campus, that are synonymous with the university, with Florida, that you think would be good for us to get in the film.
Well, I think obviously the stadium and everything that's around it. You have the statues that are out front. You have in the southwest corner where you guys will enter what they called when Urban was here, I guess in 2010 or 2009, whenever they built it, what's called the front door to the football offices. And it's basically just kind of a showcase, trophies and pictures and awards and things like that. And that's open to the public, so you guys can walk in there. Walk in the O'Connell Center, which is directly across the street. That is the basketball stadium, swimming, gymnastics, all of those kind of sports. On campus, there's the Bell Tower, which is just east of the stadium, which is kind of a significant monument on campus. There's Lake Alice, which is maybe half a mile away from the stadium. It's got a bunch of, wooded trails and lots of gators in the water. That's kind of a unique place. There's all kind of things. The Swamp Restaurant is something you ought to check out directly across the street. That's a big hangout for anyone that lives in Gainesville or goes to the university. There's all kind of stuff, and I'm sure there will be at every single stop.
Well, we can't wait. Gainesville is one of the stops we definitely have circled. Definitely why we wanted to get a hold of you as someone as a contact in the area, and going to be adding, I think, an element to. Also, we'll be adding, Missouri and Texas A&M to this. Something a lot of SEC fans, two venues that may not be too familiar with. So as the film comes about, hopefully that will provide some education for them as well. But I want to get in a little bit as a side point to the Florida Gators. Of course, you handle broadcasting duties for the Florida Gators radio network. And getting into that, new coach Kevin McElwain, what is your thoughts so far on how things are progressing? Spring ball is in the midst of occurring, and what are you seeing so far?
Well, I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess I would say. They had a bunch of issues at the offensive line during the spring with numbers. We just had guys that, there were some injuries, and we're just sort of thin at that position, so it was hard to do some of the things that you like to do in spring ball where you have full team scrimmages and things like that. I think defensively, especially in the secondary, we will be fine. I think we'll be good. In fact, our secondary is good and talented as I can ever remember it being. Offensively, I think we still have some issues. I think we don't really know how the quarterback position is going to play out with Treon Harris and Will Greer. Treon obviously had some experience last year and did some good things, but has not really solidified his status at that position, and Will Greer is brand new and hasn't done anything yet, so that has to play out. I think we're thinner than normal at the other skill positions, receiver and running back, and you got to keep moving through the summer workouts and through fall practice and see who emerges, and hopefully some people will. And I think Gator fans have to be realistic and understand that even though there's excitement and optimism with a new staff, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you flip a switch and Florida's going up and down the field and the offense looks fantastic. I think we're missing some parts, and hopefully we can improve on last year, but it's a work in progress, and I think it'll take a little bit of time.
Well, as they say, that's why they play the game. So we'll see what comes up for Florida. But one time they didn't have uncertainty at the quarterback position is when they had Tim Tebow, who we were hoping could maybe stop by, be in the documentary. We didn't think he had a lot going on, but he signed a one-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. What do you make of Tim Tebow's second and maybe last chance in the NFL?
On one hand, I was surprised that they signed him, and on the other, I wasn't, because you just never know in that league, and I think you got to give Tim a ton of credit for, staying after it and trying to keep his name floating around in NFL circles, and I think everybody's read all the things he's done with, Tom Brady's private quarterback coach, and working on his throwing motion and doing all of those types of things, trying to improve. And that's a really hard thing to do when you have no team and no prospects of a team. He just did that because that's what type of guy he is. And so I'm really pulling for him, and I'm sure all Gator fans, and Tim has such a national following, everybody's pulling for him. But the NFL is a business, and there's a lot of quarterbacks on that roster. I do think with Chip Kelly's offense and the spread concepts that he employs, that Tim's got a shot. He's got a shot. He brings some unique things to the table. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to all the things it did before. Can he make the throws and make the decisions consistently in that league? And only time will tell. But if you're on a roster, you got a shot. And I'm as excited as anyone to see how it plays out. Like I said, I'm really, really pulling for it.
Yeah, you got to pull for a guy like Tebow. He definitely will. And I'll tell you what, Travis, we can't thank you enough for offering your time today. I know you're busy at your son's baseball game. We're going to let you get off and enjoy that, man. You only get to have that experience once in life. And It's so cool that that you're involved with that. So I'll tell you what, we'll definitely keep in touch, keep up with you as the filming schedule approaches. We'll be in touch, and of course, as the Florida Gators return to play the Missouri Tigers here in Columbia this fall, we'll be in touch for that as well, of course. So definitely appreciate your input, and we'll get back in touch with. Hopefully, we can get you in Stadium Crashers, because if anyone belongs in it, you do, my man. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll be in touch.
All right, guys, I appreciate it, and just give me a holler when you come down this way.
You betcha. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
All right.